Did you know that in business, you can actually use what currently feels like your kryptonite to be your superpower? When I first heard this, I didn't believe it. I would constantly think about all of my weaknesses and what I needed to do to make them stronger. Only I didn't realize that I was actually wasting a lot of valuable time until I learned the 3 principles we're going to talk about here today. When I was able to turn this around, not only did I start to make more impact in my business, I actually was able to retire from my police career early and lean in by creating an online business that gave me the freedom that I was truly after. But let me start out by saying that it's not an easy thing to do. You have to start looking at things differently. Once I started to teach this to some of the people that I coached, they started to see their turnarounds in their business and their life too. So I figured it was time to bring it here to YouTube. Now, what I'm not going to say is that you should focus on and grow your weaknesses, because I've come to realize that that actually is a really big waste of my time and my energy. Let me break this down so you understand why. First, I had to realize that I had weaknesses mostly because I had strengths in the opposite area. Think about it. Your strengths are often the opposite of your weaknesses. Meaning if I'm great at speaking in public, then I probably am not the best at communicating over email or making posts on social media. The truth is when I leaned into my strengths, that was the reason why people were coming and asking me for help. They weren't coming to me because of my weaknesses. The moment that I realized this and started to double down on my strengths was the moment that I started to separate myself from all the other people who were doing things similar to me in my business. As an example, there's this powerful YouTube channel called Nerd Fitness. Now, I don't know about you, but when most people think of fitness, they think of people in the gym, people with like ripped six packs, and overall sports athletes, and people who've been able to excel athletically their whole life. You don't typically think of them as nerds. But what Nerd Fitness did is they leaned into their strength. Not only do they enjoy video games, Star Wars, anime, but they actually marry that with health and fitness so that they could use what typically people would say is their weakness to actually be their superpower. Now people come to them because of that. That is just one example of how you can lean into your strengths instead of using them as your kryptonite. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is what do you even do with your weaknesses?
So let's talk about our weaknesses. Most of the time, I hate dealing with my weaknesses. It uses up my energy and it makes business feel like work. And I do everything in my power to just check off the boxes and finish out the day. And that kind of energy never worked out for us in the end. But this situation gave us a powerful opportunity. It pushed us to find somebody who could help us fill in the gaps for us. Someone who actually enjoyed doing what we hated doing. And then made them stay in their strength zone so we can stay in ours. That allowed us to stop forcing things that we weren't good at, and it stopped us from wasting time trying to improve something we didn't like doing in the first place. When that happened, growth started to happen in our business because everyone was enjoying what they were doing, and they were doing it exceptionally well because they were in their strength zone.
Now, there's one more thing we need to talk about that will have you benefiting from this total strategy. And that is actually identifying your specific weaknesses. When you realize that you have weaknesses and you're willing to look at it and examine it so that you can, number 1, lean into your strength zone, and number 2, have somebody else to come and bridge the gap in your weaknesses, it gives you the ability of producing higher quality content, increasing the capacity of your business, finding more clients, making more money, and having more time at the end of the day. So what are some of the things that you would consider your weakness? I'd love to hear about it in the comment section below. Is it speaking in public? Is it sales? Is it marketing? Is it writing social media posts? Creating video content? Coaching people one-on-one? Now, when you're able to do this, you might be tempted to spend all of your time and energy improving your weaknesses. And I do think there is some times where we can lean in and get a little bit better. But I want you to think about it this way. It's the difference between a general practitioner and a specialist. If you're a level 6 or 7 as a coach, and you improve that to an 8 or a 9, people are going to be willing to spend thousands of dollars to get your expertise. But if you're a level 2 or 3, and you bump that up to a 4 or 5, you're still going to have trouble because you haven't maximized that skill. That's why I found that whenever I lean into my strengths and develop them even more, not only does it make me feel more excited and happy about working, but it also helps me find others who feel just as excited about doing the things that I actually hate. Which might lead you to ask, how do I even find somebody that is good at what I'm not and then train them to be a part of our team? Don't worry, we got you covered. Tap the next screen to watch this workshop. This is where Teresa and I talked about the art of hiring, training, and delegating in your business for maximum productivity. Thanks for what you do out there every single day. Subscribe if you enjoyed this content and keep leading from the front, leaders.